It's a sort of a interesting sensation that takes you a little while to get used to.
And then you look forward to it.
then it's the highlight of the day.
Yeah, it ain't bad. It doesn't hurt, man. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, after about 10 minutes, you think, oh, well, maybe I've used enough water. Welcome to Grumpy Old Men, and there was 3, and now there's 2.
Yeah.
We've done, I think, 40 shows. Heaven forbid.
Holy cow.
I know. And I was promising people we were going to have a third Grumpy today, but that person's pulled out. So it's just me.
You're stuck with us, folks.
And Steve.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll just have to grin and bear it.
Make do.
Today we're at a very interesting location, interesting sort of in a sad way.
Yeah.
It's a really nice-looking resort, although I imagine it was beautiful looking about 15 years ago. But it seems to be lacking a bit of polish. We're sitting in what would you call it, a very, very large sala overlooking sort of an estuary with the Andaman Sea beyond. Mm-hmm. But there's not a single person here.
And has not been for years, as far as I can tell. This restaurant, this is a food and beverage outlet. This is the, we're going to say the name, right?
Sure.
Yeah. This is the Hotspring Resort in Natai or Bodang, anyway, a suburb of Turtle Beach. And it's a very expensive, very ritzy place. And they've got 3 or 4 food and beverage outlets. This is one of them, and this is huge and by the sea.
No food and beverage.
No, I don't think this has been used in years.
Yeah, literally years. It looks very... I think we're the only people that have set foot on here for a long, long time.
But I've shot here a few times because it's quiet. It's outdoors. You got natural light. You've got a little bit of breeze.
Really bright, actually.
There's no food, no water, no electricity. And I'm really thirsty at the moment.
And they've got this lovely sort of boardwalk out to the estuary and to the beach. It goes all the way across the estuary to the beach, yes.
Yes, it does.
Umbrellas over there. Again, it doesn't look like anybody's been there in a long time.
No, but the umbrellas are not permanent because I walk this beach gathering trash a lot.
Okay.
So I think they have some guests. Driving in, we passed a bunch of people who might be guests or might have come as day trippers. There are, I think, 7 hot springs here enclosed in separate buildings. Yeah.
There's day trippers.
Yeah, those were people come for the waters, come to take the waters, I guess.
What do? You sit in them?
Yeah.
Or you do? Is it like Lourdes where you sort of drink it or sprinkle?
Oh God, no! No, it is water. I am told heated by a volcano in Indonesia, and the water is forced by that thermal heat through cracks in the rocks all the way north to here, and all throughout South Thailand. There's in Ranong there are hot springs and Gosong and here in Thai Muang. And, you just sit in it. It's just hot water. And you make Steve soup. You sit there.
Indonesia, you reckon?
That was what I heard. That's what I was told by a guy.
It's a bit implausible.
A guy at the hot springs. The Thai guy at the hot springs told me that.
Now, one of the reasons we're here, Steve, is because the police are after you. Yeah. There's a huge lawsuit that's come up against you because you've stolen the name Turtle Beach. Oh.
Yeah, apparently.
Copyright.
Apparently.
What happened?
I don't know. I wanted to be the first Falang to ever rebrand a Thai town. I got here and I said Thai Muang. Well, nobody can say Thai Muang, and nobody wants to hear that word, Muang.
Myself included.
It sounds like you're coughing up phlegm. Right? Yeah, so I said, well, it's got pictures of turtles all over. It's turtle statues, turtles on the menu, turtles on the walls. I said, let's call it Turtle Beach. There's about a dozen places in the world called Turtle Beach. I said, let the turtles come here. By the way, this is November when the egg-laying season begins, and we have not had any turtles come yet. And the
guys, that we know of.
Well, not that we know of. I asked at the park this morning.
Okay.
I went into the park and I asked a ranger, and he said, no, not yet. He said, but it's 6 months. The laying season is half the year, 6 months, which I was not aware. I thought it was just November. But at any rate, so yeah, I in my earliest videos, I called it Turtle Beach. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if that name took off? And it has, to a point. Somebody has added that to the Google Earth designation for Tai Muang. And
So how did you find out? You posted a photo the other day.
yeah, well, every now and then I go into YouTube because I've seen this guy. His name is Kies, Kies, is a German guy, and he's got a German YouTube channel where he's all in South Thailand. I think he lives in Khao Lak. And I've seen him on the beach in Tai Muang twice with his selfie stick, with that pose that leave me alone but pay attention to me, I'm a YouTuber pose. And walking on the beach.
Like my pose every day of the week.
Exactly, and mine twice a week. And so I've seen him. So I go and I just put Tai Muang into the search bar, spelled various different ways, in YouTube. And a video came up. There was a Filipino gal who was here 6-7 years ago teaching English in Tai Muang. And she made a handful of videos. And I think she was here 6 months or a year. And she made a handful of little amateur videos about Tai Muang. And in one of them, there's a sign on the beach where we now have a sign in Thai that says Rak Tai Muang, love Tai Muang. There was a sign there in 2016 that said,
2016.
Yeah, that said Turtle Beach, Tai Muang, Turtle Beach.
You could always contact Google and get them to delete it, and then you could sort of pretend that you were the one that
I may
came up
continue
with the
to do
name.
that. I may,
Yeah, I
and
think
then
you should.
since I said that, I think in my show, and people like Baz last night said, oh, no, 20 years ago we were calling it Turtle Beach. Really? I never heard of it
No,
called
either
Turtle
have
Beach. And when Baz brought me here and introduced me to the place, he never called it Turtle Beach, but I will trust him. And a guy named Luca on Phuket made that same comment. Oh, it's always been called Turtle Beach. Now, they might be thinking of Mai Khao, which is the northernmost beach on Phuket, which has a turtle hatchery, and I think has been called Turtle Beach. I have heard that Mai Khao beach called Turtle Beach.
I've never heard that either.
Yeah, so I don't know, but at any rate, I was getting kind of full of myself,
Yes.
thinking I had rebranded a Thai town, and it turns out no.
Well, I suppose we can sort of use it knowing that other people will probably know what we're talking about.
I hope so, because nobody wants to hear the words Tai Muang.
Now, for those people that will happily complain about the camera wobbling today, what's happening is Steve's on a wooden chair, which is sitting on the planks, which are connected to the joists, which is where the table's sitting. So whenever we move,
Yeah.
the camera
Yeah.
moves. So we can't do much about it.
I'm just hoping this whole structure doesn't lean over and fall into the
Yes.
estuary, because man, the termites I think have had a go at this place.
No
And
doubt.
It creaks as we walked from the stairs over here. It creaks.
I'll add some pictures of that boat behind us. Can you tell us about the boat?
No, I know. I'm from Iowa. What do I know about boats? I think it's one of those boats that you fill with ice and you put your seafood buffet out there.
I suspect that boat, despite its rigging and sailing and bowsprit and everything, has never seen the water.
It looks very small. It looks like a model of a boat. But I know nothing about boats.
Yeah, anyway, there you go. We've got a boat
Yeah.
next to us as well.
He'll show you around. It's very low tide right now. I've never
Very.
seen it such a low tide as this. And the estuary, it's just a big mud flat at the moment.
It's quite pretty in its own way.
I guess, yeah. It's desolate. It's empty. It's if you like meditating in solitude, which I do, it's a nice place. Yeah.
So
I'd kill for a bottle of water right now.
I was going to
would
say,
kill
we are going
somebody.
to talk about water. We came here expecting, I suppose, this place to be functioning. And
I'm ready for lunch.
we were going
I
to have
thought
an
we were gonna
expensive
eat.
hamburger.
Yeah.
But there's no body,
No.
there's nothing.
No.
We could be the last two people on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
And
a
I don't
depressing
think
thought.
there's been anybody here since I shot here 6 months ago.
Sure.
I don't think so. There's some workman has left a tub of tools. There's a rusty handsaw. I think he forgot his tools months and months ago. The rust on that saw.
So I was going to talk about water today because in the 13 years I've been living here in Phuket, And I have come from a country that has got very, very good drinking water, potable. Turn on the tap, put the glass under, and great water.
Right.
Since the late 50s, we've had fluoride in the water, which means we've got a whole couple of generations with excellent teeth. But all that aside, we're full of those people whinging about fluoride. Yeah. That's okay.
Rock on, brother. Whatever's your shizzle.
I've had baths. I've had many, many showers. Washing up every day, washing my hands.
Brushing my teeth.
Brushing the teeth.
With the tap water.
And I use the tap water. And I've never once thought, oh, this smells a little bit funny, or, oh, gee, it's a funny colour. I've always thought the water has looked and smelt very, very good. However, we're forever told, don't drink the tap water. And it's not only just the expats that do this. Apparently, the locals don't drink the water either.
Well, the locals I know don't. Yeah, Chamnan does not. My neighbors do not, because you see the white 5-gallon buckets. When they're empty, you put them out. You put 12 baht in them. You put them out on the sidewalk.
Sure.
And you see all your neighbors are doing that. So everybody is drinking the water. There's actually an old movie. What is it? Rock Hudson and Doris Day called Don't Drink the Water, about tourists in Mexico. I think it was in Mexico. It's called Don't Drink the Water. So it's a trope. I know when we used a well, we lived, my ex-wife and I and the kids, we lived in a house on Phuket that had a well. And in the dry season, rats would get thirsty and they'd try to climb in the well and they'd drown. And you'd wake up in the morning and the water would stink of death. And you'd know, oh, there's a rat in the well. You got to pay some guy to get down there and pull out the rat and then drain the well and then let it fill up. And then
apologies if you're having lunch.
Yeah. But no, the municipal water, which getting here, we drove past the municipal water plant. And it looks from the outside very well maintained. And the water, like you say, doesn't stink.
Yeah.
We drove past the reservoir and the plant. And I've never smelled anything funky. The water does go out. This morning it went out for about an hour. The water service will stop. And when it starts up again, I bathe in the backyard.
You're in the poor end of town. At our end, we don't have problems like that.
But I bathe outside, and I've got a big, garbage can full of water. I've got a couple of them because I'm paranoid about all kinds of end-of-life scenarios. But at any rate, there will be silt that will settle on the bottom of that garbage can. Mm-hmm. So there is some, not quite sediment. Microscopic, there is some sediment or some schmutz in the water. But I brush my teeth in it. Like you say, I bathe, I shave in it, I get it in my mouth, I get it in my eyes, I get it in my ears. And as yet, I have not identified any health problems associated with that. But at the same time, I don't make ice cubes with it. I don't drink out of the tap. Why?
I've always thought it'd make a really good video to just go with the tap, put some water and go, I think the water here is fine, and glug, glug, glug. It's a bit like a sort of a municipal officer defending the water quality.
Obama did that in Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan was exactly what I was thinking about.
And he very obviously did not drink the water.
Yes.
The cameras were right on him, and I love Mr. Obama, but he screwed the city of Flint in that moment. Him pretending to drink that water turned off all federal assistance to that place.
Did that mayor or that governor of Michigan ever go to... ever go to jail?
I don't think anybody ever went to jail.
He was a bad man.
I think the focus has been on, my God, they're still drinking bottled water. The entire city of Flint, Michigan is drinking and I think bathing in bottled water. They still can't use the water out of their taps to cook or to drink.
That is just... And this is happening in the United States
of America. In the United
States,
yeah. And the place that made all those classic muscle cars that we all love, Flint, Michigan, and Detroit. And in that icon of American ingenuity and American industry and American know-how, you cannot drink the water out of the taps.
It's very strange. There was a very good documentary by Michael Moore and addressing that particular issue.
Fahrenheit 11/9.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I love the first 3 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's...
Which ends with the words, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Now here's this estuary. There's Muslim villages up there.
We've got a boat.
Yeah, as a fisherman going.
Do you
out.
have any water, sir?
Yeah. Please save us.
Don't think you'll hear us over his Subaru 4-stroke engine out the back of the four-cylinder engine.
I thought they were. That's a little boat. Supposedly, see, there's this ongoing
that's
drama.
Smaller than that one.
It's supposedly the Muslim fishermen use these little boats that look like dinghies, and the Thai fishermen, the Buddhist Thai fishermen, use the more traditional big, long-tail boats. And supposedly these Muslim fishermen aren't supposed to go north as far as Tai Muang, and if you see one of these little boats off our beach, they're there illegally.
Oh, naughty.
But I heard that from an Australian, and can you believe anything?
Yeah. Can't trust Australians.
No. But apparently, there's a difference between the short boats like this and the traditional long boats.
They're shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
So, speaking of water, this is another one of those discussions that comes up from time to time. Somebody... Because we've been talking about visas and which is the best country in the world and all that sort of stuff. For expats, it was a survey that came out on Friday, and Bangkok's fallen down the list. But somebody says, I'm never going back to Thailand because you can't even get toilet paper there, and they don't use toilet paper. And what country doesn't have toilet paper? And it's disgusting.
You can't flush it. You can't flush the toilet paper.
And then you've got
It's madness, anarchy, I tell you.
They've got this water gun next to that, and you're meant to use that. How uncivilized is that place? Yeah. And I'm thinking, gee, for 13 years, one of the wonders and joys of living in Thailand is the ubiquitous bum gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were talking about the front of the body last week in relation to Brian Johnson. Now we're talking about the other side.
Yeah. I've got the anus of an 18-year-old kid.
Yes. Good luck to you.
Keep it in a jar on my desk.
Yeah. So let's have a talk about the. I think I know which side of the ledge you could be
and
on.
I think we've discussed the bum gun in the past.
Have we?
Have we not?
Well, after 50 shows, I suppose we can start repeating ourselves.
Yeah, I'm pro. Put me in the pro bum gun camp.
Yeah.
And
I'm not even pro-choice. It's bum gun or nothing.
There are people who I mean, you can use toilet paper to dry off back there when you're done, and then they expect you to put that toilet paper in a wastebasket.
That sounds nasty to me.
Well, see, you've already used the bum gun. It's going to be relatively clean. There might be some microscopic feces there, but for the most part, that's going to be a clean, wet piece of toilet paper. So when they give you that option, it's because the septic system won't digest cellulose, and it's clean enough that you're not grossing anybody out. You shouldn't be. I mean, if you've used the bum gun and the paper still comes away dirty, you need to talk to a doctor.
Yes.
But, for the most part, that's all very civilized, and that keeps water off your pants or your skirt if you're at work, whatever. But this idea that I can't flush a piece of toilet paper, therefore there's nothing in this country for me. That seems like, by cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're going to give up all of this. We're talking about the other
end of the body, actually. But
yeah, well, you're going to give up all of this because you can't flush toilet paper down the toilet. Well, all right. Zygos, you go with God. You do whatever you want to do, and I'm glad I won't be, meet you here.
I'll never smear again. I'm fully into this bum gun. And it's a sort of a interesting sensation that takes you a little while to get used to.
And then you look forward to it.
then it's the highlight of the day.
Yeah, it ain't bad. It doesn't hurt, man. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, after about 10 minutes, you think, maybe I've used enough water.
Yeah, after 10 minutes, it becomes masturbation.
Yeah. Well, do we have to say that word?
Will they demonetize us? Well, self-pleasuring. It becomes self-pleasuring.
That's okay. You've already said feces, so I have no idea.
That's a medical term. There's nothing wrong with that.
So, here we go. If there's anybody out there who can possibly stand up and say, I'm a proud toilet paper user, go for it. And we look forward to reading...
you do you, babe.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Find your Turtle Beach. You find your Turtle Beach. If that includes using toilet paper and no water... Babe, that's up to you.
I even know people who have asked me to take photos of the bum guns and send them to them because they've come to Thailand and they enjoyed it so much. They said, I've got to put one in my own house. Yeah. And I've even had to go and buy some. I mean, they're pretty cheap. You can get the plastic ones or the stainless steel ones and send them to them because they can't get them in Australia.
No.
So bum gun or toilet paper?
My mother used to rent, after I left the house, my mother used to rent bedrooms to Indian PhD, MD candidates at the University of Iowa. And she just...
Are we talking Indian?
No. Eastern...
Indians.
South Asian Indians.
Okay.
And they would just, one would come for 2 years, earn his graduate degree, and then pass on the apartment to another one who would stay for 2 years. And these guys always kept 2-liter soda bottles full of water next to the toilet. Because in Iowa, we don't have bum guns next to the toilet. So they would need a source of water. So there would always be a 2-liter bottle full of water just sitting on the floor next to the toilet. And that's what they used.
The last place I used to live in Koh Tao, which is in Phuket, had very good water pressure, such that you had to be a little bit careful with the button. I could sit on one side of the bathroom and shoot out the window. It would go about 30 feet. It was a very powerful bum gun.
Hello!
Yes, indeed.
Good morning. Good morning.
I've forgotten what I was going to talk about. I had this great segue organised. Oh, that's right. You were speaking of Indians. Now, speaking about the other types of Indians in the United States of America.
As it is Thanksgiving or close to Thanksgiving.
So we had Thanksgiving a few days ago. What did you do for Thanksgiving Day in Turtle Beach?
I had dinner with you and Baz. I didn't...
and we had turkey and roast potatoes.
We had pad thai. It was not very good pad thai. No peanuts, no sprouts. Who makes pad thai without peanuts and sprouts? It's a good restaurant, an expensive restaurant. I don't know why she didn't put peanuts and sprouts on my pad thai. I did not
about that
thank,
for the next couple of weeks.
I did not thank God for that. But no, Thanksgiving, that holiday is like...
It's a bit of a strange... It's a holiday that I am unfamiliar with being Australian.
It's strictly American, and it's a big family event. I think it would be terribly sad, though it does happen, to go to a Thanksgiving dinner somewhere other than your family. As none of my family is here, I have no desire to celebrate that. If I could sit down and have turkey with my mom, my cousins, my aunt, my friends, but...
Is it turkey, just only turkey that people would eat on Thanksgiving?
Well, in my family, the idea is you're eating foods that were eaten at the first Thanksgiving, which would have been what you can kill or grow in the state of Massachusetts. So wild turkeys, Benjamin Franklin said the wild turkey should be the native bird or the national bird of the United States because they were
quite as elegant on the
it doesn't look as good
bald eagle,
but it was the turkey that fed the first couple generations of Americans because they were everywhere. They were rife in the forest and they can't fly. They're really easy to kill. A wild turkey is really easy to kill, and so that's what they ate. So turkey would be your entree. Potatoes that grow in Massachusetts, sweet potatoes, green beans. What else? Pumpkin, a lot of gourds.
It sounds like a sort of a roast dinner.
And it is. And I think they brought their palates from England, so they would have been trying to please those English palates.
Can I put my hand up as somebody that thinks turkey is very overrated? I think it's dry and uninteresting. And if not for the cranberry sauce or the gravy, you wouldn't eat it.
Well, probably not. But you can kill one and feed a family of 6. Well, so if you're a pilgrim in 1600 in Massachusetts,
I bet the turkeys
great.
Today,
that's a gift from God, right? It's a whole meal for 6 with one bullet. That's
the turkeys
great.
Today are about this big. The ones they were chasing around back in the 1600s would be about this big.
Smaller, but
yes.
they were smaller people as well, and they had smaller appetites, we assume.
Even for Christmas, it sort of became tradition to have Christmas turkey. In our family, turkey was something that you'd have for Christmas. Now we've, in recent years, just reverted back to lamb and chicken. By the way, if you're coming for Christmas lunch, you know what you're going to be having now, because the chicken just tastes a whole lot better than
perhaps
turkey.
Yeah. Well, Dickens taught us how to celebrate Christmas. We never had Christmas trees. We never did any of that stuff until Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol. Christmas was a very minor holiday in the Christmas calendar. Easter. He is risen. That's the whole point. Easter. Everything Christian is an Easter. Virtually nothing Christian is. It's a birthday, and it's not even on the day he was born. So it was a very minor holiday until Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol and told us we should have a tree, and we should have a figgy pudding, and we should have a punch, and a goose. right? What's the end of it? How do we know Scrooge has redeemed himself? He buys the biggest goose in the butcher's window for Bob Cratchit, not for himself. That's the emblem of his redemption, the goose, the Christmas goose. And ever since then, people in England have been eating goose, I guess, for Christmas. So blame it on Charles.
Well, really? It's all back to Charles Dickens,
Yeah.
the Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
Everything we think of as a Victorian-inspired Christmas, holly on the door, the wreath of holly on the door, it all has roots in paganism, and it was celebrated in a small scale here and there.
And the hymns. The hymns started talking about the holly and the good King Wenceslas.
The holly and the ivy,
blah,
when
blah,
they
blah.
are both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the
Cut this
holly
bit out.
has the crown.
So I think the Christmas carol sort of perpetuated the whole thing. And Santa Claus, where did Santa Claus come from?
Oh, he's like Dutch or Norwegian, isn't he?
Coca-Cola, I think.
Oh,
But
probably. Yeah, Coke.
he was a thing, but then Coca-Cola turned him into a sort of a fat, jolly red suit and white... I think it was Coca-Cola that made Santa Claus who he is today.
There is that poem, The Night Before Christmas. I think in America, The Night Before Christmas introduced America to the idea of Santa Claus, the jolly old elf, that he's pot-bellied, his bowl jiggles like a bowl full of jelly, he's got a bright red nose, he's got a red hat trimmed in white fur. All of that comes out of a poem that I think
the reindeer?
I
Oh,
forget.
here we go.
I forget. Who wrote that? But
Well,
that poem,
I'm going to ask the Oracle.
Siri,
Hey Siri, where did Santa Claus come from?
these kids today.
He's at the North Pole, of course, except when he's at his beach house.
Except when he's at his beach house.
Well,
That's the algorithm, dude.
I've got 2 for rent now.
Yeah. And they know it. That's why they put that on there.
Hey Siri, what's the history of Santa Claus? Oh, here we go. Okay. Origins and legend. By the way, any kids watching, be good for mum and dad because Santa will be coming down the chimney on Christmas Eve and leaving something very special for you. You're coming to Christmas dinner, so I'm looking forward to something very special from you.
If it matters, I dressed as Santa Claus and gave away gifts at the boathouse for 2 Christmases. I was Santa Claus in Thailand. I got photos of me dressed as Santa Claus giving gifts to the hotel guests at the boathouse.
You're giving the sweets to the kids, and the parents are looking very concerned.
Oh, I think the boathouse at that time was no kids allowed. It was adult. There were no kids at the boathouse. The whole time I worked there, I never saw a kid.
The way they run these boats with hear the way they're running the throttle? Just leave it on, you know?
It's
so
more
table
fun.
of contents.
This is more fun.
The legend of St. Nicholas, the real Santa Claus. Santa Claus comes to New York. 'Twas the night before
There you
Christmas. Santa Claus
4.
around the world. Christmas traditions in the United States. The 9th reindeer, Rudolph. So there's plenty of reading to do there.
Let's not.
No.
Let's not.
So we've spoken about water, and I've got another topic here. Well, where's he going now? I think he's lost his way. One day I'm going to bring an outboard up and put the outboard on one of these boats and show them how you can get much more efficient power than these stupid propeller things they hang out the back of their boats.
This is, you know what I hate? I hate those YouTube videos where the guy's building a house in Nissan and all he does is complain about the contractors. I'm going to show him how to lay bricks. I'm going to show him how to dig a swimming pool. I'm going to show him yada, yada, yada.
You seen the way they cut the lawn?
Yeah, there you go. Wah.
Yeah, I use a
push
lawnmower.
Yeah.
Not push. Oh, no. Sorry, a push. But did I ever tell you about my father who owned the hardware store? I told you about that.
Yeah.
See, we've got 50 shows. We've got nothing
Yeah.
else to talk about. I've written down here, you're going to have to fill in the gaps, Colin cassette vendors.
Oh, that's my topic.
Okay.
I don't know how much of a topic it is, but I reread a book by my old dear friend who's gone now, Colin Pipperell. And Colin's written some very good books about Thailand. And one of them is called Bangkok Nights. And it's kind of it's called Kicking Dogs. And it's a kind of the very first Bangkok detective novel. Now Amazon is crammed to the rafters with terrible Bangkok detective novels.
AI generated.
Well, almost, yeah. And it's a formula. The reason new writers, people who've never written in their lives before, want to write a detective novel is because it looks easy from the outside. They've read 100 of them, and they're all exactly the same. So it must be easy to write. And then they try, and they self-publish, and they say, why isn't anyone buying my book? Because you can't write, dude. You've never put any effort into learning how to write. But I digress. In this one, which is very well written, and probably one of the first, at least one of the first Bangkok crime novels, he complains bitterly all the time, all the way through the book, about the pickup trucks that were selling cassette music tapes in Bangkok on the streets in those days, because they used to have big speakers and they would blast rock and roll all day long out of these speakers, and they would sell.
I was just putting it there.
They would sell, I'm getting there, I'm getting to the point. They would sell these tapes, and it annoyed Colin. And so Colin made this a feature of his book, this constant...
Cassette vendors.
Yes, you remember cassette tapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to sell, they were pirated. You know, you'd pay $8 in the U.S. for something by the Rolling Stones. You get it for 50 cents here. And you could get movies when movies started coming out on CD.
DVDs,
you could buy CD
I remember
and
those.
DVDs. Yeah. So when he wrote this, probably about 82, 83, I'm guessing, 81, 82, 83, there was what was being sold on the street was cassettes, and they were being sold with these loudspeaker trucks. And he kept saying, God, what a beautiful place this would be if it weren't for these trucks. All right, well, now there are no more cassette vending trucks on the street in Bangkok. Is it really a better Bangkok? Are people measurably happier in Bangkok now because this thing, which Colin insisted on identifying as the source of all his angst living in Bangkok, now it's gone, never to be seen again. And it's been gone for how long? 20 years? 15, 20 years since we had cassette tapes.
25, 30, yeah.
You know, now they're sold as kitsch. In the night market and at Chatuchak, they're sold as, you know, funky old kitsch.
The only reason I ever used a pencil was
to rewind your tape. Yeah. And so anyway, I was thinking, well, Colin, he lived, I would love to ask him if he was still alive. He lived long enough to see the demise of those trucks. Was Bangkok any more livable without those trucks, or did something simply replace it? Right?
Well,
is there something else to be annoyed at?
Just shitloads of traffic, including the motorcycles with the exhausts to make them sound louder.
To make them louder, take the muffler off.
Doing the opposite of what the muffler is meant to do.
Yeah.
Look, Bangkok is a noisy city, and I always thought the best thing about electric motorbikes and electric cars, despite all the opportunities for improved technology and more reliable technology, blah, 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 and we're not going to talk about electric cars today, but I thought the city would just be so much quieter.
Yeah.
Because it's just the traffic that just generates this cacophony of hum that's there all day.
Every time the light turns green, you have to shout. If you're having lunch in a restaurant, you have to shout because everybody takes off at once. Well, I don't know. Didn't they? I heard somewhere or saw somewhere the earliest electric vehicles, they've given people a menu. They've got speakers under it. And they've given people a menu of sounds because when you start at a red light, you're silent and some pedestrian won't know you're coming. And so you can have a vroom. You can have the sound the Starship Enterprise makes when it takes off. I don't know if that's true. I heard that somewhere. But
I think you're right.
I'm
just not sure if the Star Trek Enterprise actually made any noise.
Ba, ba, bum, 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 bum.
I don't think they had an orchestra on board playing that music every time.
In the holodeck.
They engaged.
That song has words. Did you know that? Somewhere beyond the stars, my love waits there for me. And they thought the lyrics were written by Gene Roddenberry, and NBC thought they sucked so bad they just ran it as an instrumental without any words at all, which at the time, 66, was very unusual. You think of any theme song from those days, come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, right? They've all got lyrics. They set
just
up
sit right back and
the situation of this. Yeah, we'll hear a tale of a fate. They set up the situation in a situation comedy. So to have theme song in 1966 with no words was very strange, but it was because they sucked so bad.
My God, there's some people behind us.
Really? Are you sure they're people?
Yes, they're real people.
Hello! Yeah, all right, they're going to the beach.
Wow, they are Russian. I can hear them speaking Russian.
Bet you they're YouTubers. She's talking into her phone. I'll bet she's a YouTuber. Yeah. Crossover episode.
YouTubers. Speaking of the theme to Gilligan's Island, somebody worked out that the model that was the SS Minnow had a top speed of something, I don't know, 5 or 6 knots, and that a 3-hour tour would have only taken them 71 miles away from wherever they started.
Which was Hawaii.
Which meant they weren't that lost, really.
No.
They could have swum and got back home.
Well, if you're thinking that hard about Gilligan's Island, you're not getting the joke.
Exactly.
You know? I worked with... oh, come on, Steve.
Bob Denver.
Bob Denver, thank you. Yeah, I did a play with him. He was in his 70s. He did a play in New Jersey called The Foreigner. And his wife, Dreama, made pot cookies, chocolate chip cookies with broccoli in them for the crew. And that was just standard procedure. They were pro-legalization before it was fashionable. And I worked with him. It would have been 85.
No wonder they couldn't find their way off the island.
Yeah. And they were a real sweet couple, real sweet old people. But he was very much a TV actor. He would get out on stage, and this was a stage that held, I think, 1,400 people. It was a big house. Ooh. And he would act with an eyebrow like that. Well, nobody can see that past row C, right? You know, it's a stage, project from the diaphragm. And he didn't know how. He was not a stage actor. Right. He was very much a TV actor.
Well, people just came because...
People came
Gilligan.
to get the program that said, I saw Bob Denver in the flesh. Yeah.
So the other reason I know the Gilligan's Island theme is because some strange quirk, you can sing the Australian national anthem words to the theme of Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, and on it goes. So that's how I remember the Australian national anthem.
I think Stairway to Heaven you can sing with that. I've heard Stairway to Heaven done with that tune. Yeah, something about the meter, it's very common.
So clearly we've run out of things to talk about. But we are up to about program number 50. I'll have to check during the week and give you an exact number now that I'm a bit curious myself.
Yeah, I am too.
I can't believe that it can't possibly be nearly a year. No.
Well...
No. And we've gone through, I don't know, I think you've had about 28 surgical procedures.
Yeah,
with
4 shirts.
You've had a death and a resurrection. Yeah. It's been quite eventful. Oh, you said definitely YouTube. Look at their sort of fluffing around and
she's
hello.
running on the yes,
and she's running in that sort of YouTube way. Oh my goodness gracious! I should turn the camera on so I can insert some video. For
brava!
Shh, don't. Hang on, is she going to do it again? No, she's checking it out now.
I don't think women are
if they do it again,
I think they like attention.
Now they're just checking out their videos. I'll just shoot a bit of video here so people can see what we're talking about. I hope she does it again. I've got the camera ready this time.
Well, I had 2 more topics.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what to say about them. These are topics that were offered by viewers, and I very much appreciated, people when they offer topics. And so I wrote them down, but I don't really have much to say about them. The first one is espionage in Thailand. Because of Thailand's, this viewer, and I'm sorry I didn't write down the names, this viewer noted that because of the position of Thailand, both politically and geographically, there must have been a lot of spies and spooks coming through this place for hundreds of years. And I think he's right. I think in The Falcon of Siam by Axel Alwyn, he makes the point that Constantine Falcon, who was the first successful expat in this country in Ayutthaya in the 1600s or 1500s, he was sent as a spy from the British East Indies Company. They wanted to come in here and take over teak and opium. And so they sent this Greek guy to Ayutthaya to check out the situation, and he ended up befriending the king and becoming the Kralahome, the prime minister of Thailand in the 1500s, this Greek guy, which was a position normally used by Persians. They would normally hire Persians to be their bureaucrats. So at any rate, so there was espionage, at least industrial, commercial espionage, as early as the late 1500s, early 1600s.
If you talk espionage in Thailand, I just would immediately think post-Vietnam, Cambodia. That's what I'm thinking.
Post-World War II, Jim Thompson of the Jim Thompson Silk came here in some capacity for American Army intelligence. And so did Alex McDonald, who founded the Bangkok Post. And was managing editor of the Bangkok Post for the first 15 years of its production. He was the CIA head of station here. And Mipe and Rhyming's Nevermind by Carol Hollinger. Her husband, they were here for 2 years. Her husband was State Department, but was actually, in fact, a spy for the CIA. So I know names of people who famously were spies. I don't know, there's a lot of spy novels written set in Bangkok. I don't know how much of that is true. I think a lot of people, portray themselves in fiction or in nonfiction as, let's say, private detectives in Bangkok, and they're not.
Well, I'm glad you had nothing to say about espionage. And
Yeah.
So
I hope that satisfies anonymous viewer.
it's at that part of the world. It's an intersection of different roads and cultures and trade routes. Obviously, it was always going to be a sort of a hot spot of
And Thais,
spies.
love to gossip about their neighbors. So, if you want to know what's happening in Burma, ask a Thai. Don't ask a Burmese.
That's how I keep on tabs on you. I just ask the neighbours. 24-hour clock?
I was going to look this up because I know bits and pieces of it. You know how 7 o'clock in the evening is not Jedmong. It's Song Tum. It is the second hour of the evening segment of the day. Song Tum, Nung Tum, Song Tum, Sam Tum, 9 o'clock is Sam Tum, and I think Si Tum is the last. Those 4 hours are the evening hours. There's Don Chao, the morning hours, and Nung Song Sam Si Chao. And I don't remember, I think Don Bai is the afternoon, Cancun is the evening. At any rate, they don't cut up the day into equal 1 hour chunks. They prefer to look at time as a broader continuum. We are
Morning, afternoon,
right,
evening.
Yeah. When will you come visit? Afternoon.
Yeah.
Evening.
This
Yeah.
explains Thai time.
It does, yeah. Or it facilitates the natural Thai time that would exist in these people. Listen, I don't hurry in this weather at all. I don't go anywhere in a hurry. If I'm late, I'm late. Suck it up, Look at your phone till I get there.
I'm the opposite. It's just programmed into my DNA. I'll arrive somewhere 5 minutes before the actual time, just so I can make sure I'm right on time.
Used to be that way.
I hate that I behave like that, but it's just in my DNA.
He's just messing with us now.
He
This
is.
guy's just going back and forth to screw up our recording.
He's noticed the two young Russian lasses, I think.
I will
He's going
say,
backwards and forwards.
I still wake up at 4:30 every damn morning. My body thinks we have to get up and drive to El Paso and go to work. And every damn morning at 4:30, I'll wake up. Even if I didn't get to sleep till midnight, I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
He's turning around for another go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think he's going to... Where's he going?
I don't know, maybe he can't get out. Maybe the water's not deep enough for him to get out of the estuary.
Finding a different little route around the edge there.
He might be just going to drag that boat over the sandbar.
So, with that, I'm parched.
I am too.
It's
I'm hungry
very
and thirsty.
hot here. There's no air circulation. There's no more young Russian women walking past. So,
and this guy's getting on my last nerve.
yeah.
I'm going to go talk to this guy.
So we're going to go and show him how to use his boat. Have a few words with him. So Steve, who has got his own YouTube channel.
I do.
Spelt Steve Ross with 3 E's in total.
ROSSE. Yes.
There you go. And you can also, in the link in the description, go and check out some of Steve's... no, you can send him an email, and he'll send you photos
Books
of
on
his
Amazon?
memorabilia. Books on Amazon.
Yeah.
All 1,300 of them. An enormous library of books.
And
that Steve's written.
Tim has bed and breakfast he's selling. He's got some beach houses he's renting out.
Yeah,
We're
2 now.
We're an industry, man.
Soon to be 3.
Soon to be 3, right?
it's
We're an
frightening,
industry.
isn't
We're an industry.
So we're going to go and drink 13 bottles of water. We do thank you very much for coming today. And thank you for all the nice comments about my shirt.
Yeah, it's a lovely shirt. Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. I love you guys. Bye-bye.